Paul Sweeney, your party obviously would still wish to see a general election, instead. But the reality is that it's only the Conservative Party that can make that happen. It's not going to happen, is it?
Well, indeed, turkeys usually don't vote for an early Christmas, and unfortunately we are being held hostage, frankly, by a Conservative Party that's more interested in its own selfish agenda, as we saw with the appalling reappointment of Suella Braverman, a real sadist who fantasises about inflicting harm on the most vulnerable people in our country who are coming here to seek refuge from war-torn countries. This is the sort of situation we've got where this completely dysfunctional Tory party is turning in on itself, and Rishi Sunak's going to have a hell of a job on his hands in the coming days trying to hold this party together whilst the country is suffering. In the last decade we've had wages falling in every single year. We've had the worst decline in living standards in our history. And this has been presided over by the Conservatives. He has no mandate. We had a few months ago Tory MPs like Jacob Rees-Mogg lining up saying if Boris Johnson goes, we have to go for a general election because the next Prime Minister from the Tories would have no mandate. The mandate was a personal one from Boris Johnson. They're hypocrites, they're self-serving, and they need to go.
Well, that's not how the parliamentary system works. It's not a presidential system, is it? You elect a party, they choose the leader, they become Prime Minister. That's how it works. Gordon Brown did the same thing, didn't he, when he took over from Tony Blair? He didn't call an election.
That's true, and I think he made a very, I think history has reflected that it was a mistake. He should have went to the country in 2008 and he paid for it in 2010. I think most people would reflect that actually in our current system, generally speaking, most people are voting for a Prime Minister on a personal mandate. And I think whilst it's true about the parliamentary system, that is a reality in our politics today.
Well, Paul Sweeney, just coming to you, every budget in every department is going to be squeezed, isn't it, because of the financial situation the Scottish Government, just like the UK Government, is facing?
Well, absolutely, there are massive financial constraints just now, but that is a false economy. We're looking at a fifth of the budget being cut to the justice services. We're looking at over 4,000 jobs potentially being lost from Police Scotland. But whilst we're doing that, we've got huge numbers of prisoners on remand at a cost of over £30,000 a year each. And we've got huge backlogs in our criminal justice system. That's just going to build more and more cost into the system. We've had millions paid out in malicious prosecution compensation claims. There's been huge failures in management here that we're now paying the price for. So it's not simply a case of straightforward budget constraints. There's been dysfunction for years in our criminal justice system in Scotland. We've got one of the most difficult and dysfunctional systems in the UK, and we need to get a grip of that as well.
Paul Sweeney, just coming to you, how will you vote tomorrow? How will Labour vote?
Well, we've had really good discussions this week, constructive discussions with the Labour members of the Scottish Parliament, and we've sincerely held views. Of course, we've had lots of representations from constituents. I will be voting in favour of the reform at stage one, the general principles of the bill, and I believe that is reflective of Labour's position on this issue. We're recognised as reforms needed. There may be amendments at the next stage, but in this general principle, Labour will be voting in favour.